In the last episode, my dad and I began construction of a snowmobile camper. Today we're going to finish it. As we traveled to the cabin site, we inspected the trails along the way. We wanted to make sure that all obstacles were removed in preparation for the sled shelter's maiden voyage. Aside from this small creek, the trail was clear. As small as it was, however, we were concerned that the sharp dip into the creek might cause the camper to nose in and become stuck. So we decided to build a small winter bridge over it. To start, we needed to gather some materials. Back at the cabin site, we broke some poplar scabs free from the snow. I had been saving them for just such an occasion.
That's a rock. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's longer than I thought. Wow. Okay, that doesn't work. Where'd the other one go? Right there. Whoa. Look like that. Actually, we should switch those two in for in, or one in for in, I guess. I'll just leave it like that. I can take over and shovel too if you want. Moment. Here, why don't you save your energy?
Anyway, so
With the winter bridge taken care of, we returned our efforts to the sled camper.
that's better.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if we can put a shim, little shim in the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta put the screw higher too.
Yeah.
Here I go. That's great. I think when I put the supports in, I'll have it always on a bit of a slant. And that way when I burn
Better.
the wood stove, the heat will travel up and into the bunkhouse here.
Good. That way. Oh, thanks.
I installed a vent hole in one of the gable ends. Ventilation is important in this case because it will keep moisture from collecting and condensing on the inside. We made the door swing upward so that it can double as an awning. The only problem with this setup is that it's difficult to get into and out of. The solution to our door dilemma was a pair of lift supports.
Here, let me.
This what?
Got it.
There we go.
Okay. There, it holds it up. That's good.
During the winter months in the bush, darkness comes quick and complete. Since the day was getting on, we knew that it wouldn't be much longer until the sun slipped beneath the horizon. This is normally when we would pack up and head out for the day, but I decided to remain a little longer in order to put the finishing touches on the camper. So I towed Dad out on the dog sled and returned to the camper on my own. Well, the snowmobile camper is pretty much complete, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I'm not sure if you can hear a bit of the noise outside, but it is a little windy. But I am 100% protected in here. I'm not getting any drafts or anything, which is great. And that's due to the reflective foam board insulation that I've installed. It's on the floor, the walls, and the ceiling as well. And that has helped to keep the heat in. But I've also installed a vent hole at the top here so that moisture can't escape and it doesn't build up inside here. What's nice about the reflective surface on this foam board insulation is that it not only reflects heat, but it reflects light. And so these two LED light strips that I have in here light up the place really well, and they use only a little bit of power, and that's because the light is bouncing around inside and it's amplified. I'd have to say that my favorite feature about the snowmobile camper so far are the lift supports that my dad and I installed. They have worked so well. What's nice about it is that it not only lifts the door up, but we've installed it at such an angle that when we're closing the door, it also seals the door shut too. So they hold the door closed just by the power of these lift supports. And so the great news about that is that we haven't had to install any latches on the outside or on the inside. The door is held shut completely by the strength of these lift supports. And I know some of you may comment that as you've seen the door open, it opens high. It doesn't open level or on a down tilt. And originally I was hoping to have the door open with a bit of a down tilt so that if I'm having a campfire or something outside, that the heat will rise into the camper with the slope of the door. But the reason why I decided eventually just to have the door open right up is because it's so much easier just to get out that way. If the door was slanted downward, then it would be a lot harder to get out of. So it was nice just to have it open all the way up, and access in and out is very easy. And for the most part, if I want to heat this place, I'm hoping just to do it mainly with body heat. When I stay here overnight, eventually I want to bring a hot water bottle and have that heating myself and this space as well. But while I'm in here, I don't want to have any candles burning. I don't want to have any flames, anything like that. And that's just because the space is too cramped for anything like that. It would just be too unsafe. I have made it so that there is just enough space for me to lay down here. So the idea is that this space will be heated mainly with my body heat. And so when I stay here overnight in the future, we'll see how well that works out. I've also had some other ideas as to how to heat this place without using flames or anything like that. And so I've got a few ideas in my head, and maybe I'll implement them in the future. But I love the LED light strips as well. I think those are so cool. And I think what I'll do in the future, or what I would like to do, is install maybe a solar panel on the roof. And that way we can have my power bank back here being charged on a regular basis and powering the lights, which would be great. The only downside of having a solar panel on the roof is that it will likely be covered with snow, and I'll have to constantly be clearing it to have it charged properly. So we'll see if I install a solar panel. That's just kind of an extra that I may or may not do. As I made supper this evening, what I did to help start the heating process in the shelter here is that I lit about 6 candles and just left them here with the door shut. And that did help. I think it raised the temperature in here about 8 degrees. It's -4 degrees outside right now, and it raised the temperature to 4 degrees Celsius in here. I'm not sure what the conversion for that is in Fahrenheit, but you'll have to excuse my Canadian. But now that I've jumped in here after supper, my body heat has actually risen the temperature further, and it's continuing to climb. So as I'm talking right now, the thermostat is saying that it is -4 degrees outside, and it is +8 degrees inside. And I might as well do the conversion here. And that would be 25 degrees Fahrenheit outside and 46 degrees Fahrenheit inside. So there you go. It is actually fairly warm in here. I still have my winter gear on, but I'm quite hot right now. So I think if I had a sleeping bag in here and some blankets, I would be more than cozy, and maybe even a little too hot if I had too many layers, which is good news. It shows that I can be quite comfortable in here overnight during the winter time. After spending approximately 45 minutes in the winter camper, the inside temperature had risen to 10 degrees Celsius, while the outside temperature remained at -4 degrees Celsius. That translates to 49 degrees Fahrenheit inside and 25 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I'd like to say a big thank you to Through Night for sponsoring this episode. I'm very particular with sponsors on this channel. In fact, Through Night is the only sponsor that I've ever allowed to be on this channel that I've ever been willing to work with. And that's because I personally believe in their product, and their flashlights have really helped me a lot as I'm getting out of the bush at nighttime or doing some work in the dark. Earlier on in this episode, you may have seen some footage of me with one of their headlamps on, and that is an invaluable tool for me, and as well as this flashlight that they just sent me. This is the TC15, and you can see how small it is here. It pretty much fits in the palm of my hand. This is currently, at the time of filming, the most powerful EDC flashlight on the market, to the best of my knowledge. This is 2300 lumens. My camera battery cut out on me, but I said pretty much everything I wanted to. Bottom line, Through Night makes a product that I can get behind. They're bright, they last, and they're tough. What's more, I rely on them, especially on nights like these when I wouldn't be able to see my hand in front of my face without them. Anyway, now that the snowmobile camper is complete, I look forward to taking it on the journey ahead. But I've done all I can do for today. I figure this is as good a time as any to showcase just how powerful the little TC15 flashlight is, especially when it is compared against the brightness of the snowmobile headlight. Just like all Through Night flashlights, the TC15 is impact resistant and waterproof. It also comes with a holster, battery, and clip. If you were to shop around, you will see that the TC15 also sells on average for $30 less than any other comparable high-end EDC flashlight that's out there. Anyway, that's it for now. Until next time, my friends.